Hey guys.
Hello,
How is
strangers.
everyone? I know,
feel like
strangers. It has been a long time.
It sure
It
has.
has been kind of crazy around here. Coming by some free time has not been the easiest task for us lately. So, yeah, we're decided we're going to make sure to take some time to hang out with you lovely people because you're part of our community and you're what keeps us going and what keeps us kind of a little bit further engaged with what we're doing here. And we've got a lot going on. There's a lot that I've been wanting to share, but you guys can probably tell, like from the last video I released yesterday, I'm still in March. Like, videos are still from March.
Yeah.
And it's June. Oh my God.
It's flying by.
It's June, but we have been so incredibly busy. So I might start getting a little out of order, but I might leave that up to you guys. I'll let you guys decide in maybe a community poll to see if you want me just to kind of skip ahead or if you want me to not follow the sequence of events. But it's been a little bit crazy, and the allergies are trying to get me right now while I'm talking. So. So what's everybody else been going? What's everybody else got going on? How is everyone? It's been. I feel like it's been forever.
Has been.
It's been forever. Hello, Emma. How are you?
Got Emma in
Good
the
to
house.
see you. I was so incredibly jealous seeing all of your guys' pictures from this last weekend.
Mm-hmm.
We were. What were we doing? Well, we were getting the garden ready. The garden still isn't in. The raised beds are pretty much done. I have 4 beds still that I need to plant.
Yep.
And we just got our in-ground garden prepped, and it's almost all the way ready to be planted. So we are like weeks behind.
Definitely.
It's very, very frustrating. We usually, because we usually are very good about staying scheduled with things, but it has just been like, I don't know, it's just a season in our life where it just feels like we cannot catch up with anything. We can't find a free moment. Like our time is always occupied with something.
Yeah. Like this weekend.
And a lot. Shut up. That's my fault. I'm telling him to shut up because we actually are going to be going to a goat show.
Yeah. On the other side of Indianapolis, it's going to be on the west side of the state.
Yeah.
And yeah, we're taking how many goats? 10?
9.
Yeah.
I thought it was going to be 10, but I decided to take one out at the last minute. So I don't know why. What's one more? What's one more
Which
goat,
one
guys?
of them? We're not even going to show. One of them are just taken
that
for
means
somebody
it
to
is
pick.
10 then.
Yeah.
It is 10. Yeah, you're right. I wasn't counting.
I was going to say, when I look back there, I'm probably going to see 10 heads bouncing around, I'm sure.
Now we're taking the horse trailers now.
Yeah.
You won't see 10 heads bouncing. You just have to
We'll
assume
do a
that they're
quick
there.
roll call in the trailer to make sure we don't want to leave anybody behind. It's too far to drive back.
Yeah. So Braxton is in the house. Braxton says, "Hey y'all, I'm headed to church camp in a few weeks, packing like crazy. That will be so much fun. That will be a lot of fun."
Yep.
Emma says, "It really has. It has been forever."
Yeah, and Emma said we hadn't planned on going to the festival, but when we were gifted tickets, we couldn't say no.
Yeah. When those things kind of like fall in your lap, it would be silly not to go.
Yeah, definitely.
So did you enjoy? What were some of the highlights that you really enjoyed from it?
Yeah,
well, Chip and Nicole were there, and I saw there were Sid and oh my gosh, what is his wife's name? The Naked Gardeners were there. I was like, oh my gosh, I could have gone to this one, but that's okay. We'll be there hopefully we'll be there in October. It depends on gas prices at this point, I guess.
Yeah. Hello, Betty Randall.
Good to have Betty, you tonight. What's up?
Yeah, we're still behind on our gardening though. That's something that we need to catch up on.
And and you see these prices raise and you start worrying about food security and shortages. And I'm like, this is like the one year that we really shouldn't have misstepped on our timing. But it's just like, there's just always that or the weather. Or when we do have a free night, it's like tonight. I didn't know if we were actually going to get to go live. It looks sunny outside behind us right now, but it actually stormed and we had a couple of tornadoes not 30 minutes from the house. So it has been pretty tumultuous weather in this area. Like very, very bad. So can't keep a handle on the grass. We did hay. We've been so busy.
Yep.
So busy.
Emma said we actually shared an Airbnb with Sid and Tori, and Chip and Nicole were besties. Oh, that's awesome.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah, we love Chip and Nicole.
Yeah, they're awesome. It was super fun hanging out with them. Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
I hope he gets his what did she call it, the hobo Santa beard going again?
No, it was still there. So he still had it.
He still has it. Yeah. Don't want to shave the beard.
Yeah, the last time we talked to Nicole, she's like, he looks like hobo Santa. I'm like, it looks fine.
Poor guy.
Yeah, we still haven't booked a hotel for October.
Yep. Working on it.
We keep, but at this point, like really, I'm not even sure. Like if gas prices go a lot higher, which I feel like they probably will, it's like one of those things where it's like, well, do we go? Because yeah, I think it's totally worth it, but it really is starting to get to the point with some of these prices where we're starting to look at the areas where we can save or the areas that we need to cut back on.
Yeah.
It's just a little bit scary, and with gas prices that far, I just don't know. I don't know.
Darren, hello. Said, hope you're
Hey,
doing
Darren.
amazing. Missing you.
Yeah.
And I won't lie, that last video you did was a hard one to watch. So,
Mark was
the one that I think you put out another one after it, but the one about the things that
go pew pew.
the Canadian government was pushing it. It was tough to watch. Yeah. So I understand your emotions towards it because I couldn't believe it, even though it doesn't impact us directly. Still, your neighbors. So I'm like,
it just
so frustrating.
It is hard to watch infringement. That's what I will call it, is infringement. You know, it's really hard for me to even like somewhat get close to those subjects without getting really heated. So I will try to stay away from those subjects.
You can tell affected him, and understandably so. Emma said slackers.
We are slackers, Emma. I'm telling you what, like,
I feel like we're just like running around doing things last second and trying to keep up.
100% of the time. 100% of the time.
Like the show this upcoming weekend, I think you're finishing up shaving some goats.
I still have one to do. Yeah. But she's a junior, so it's really not that big of a deal, and I'll be doing touch-ups tomorrow. But it's just been one of those. And then we, like, of course, those that follow the channel, our truck was older, and I was worried about making it to the show. So we had a situation where my brother is helping a dealer work on some vehicles on their lot, and I came across the one that we actually purchased that Ashley just shared on the Facebook page that we'll be taking to the show this weekend. So we were excited to get something where we feel will get us to the show reliably without the risk of it like breaking down. And then having 10 goats in the back of the trailer sounds like a horrible nightmare. Yeah, and just dealing with people is
we ran into someone at the last show. They were talking about some of those journeys, and they were talking about having an older truck that they took out to like Oregon. And like they were saying, like there was
they bought a new truck while they were out there.
Yeah,
because they're like, we don't think this truck's going to get us back. Yeah, like we need a truck.
They said like the lug nuts were falling off as they were like the actual studs, not just the lug nuts. Like things were just. It was really bad. They limped it out there.
It was really bad.
Yeah. When you have like it's one thing like if you break down and you gotta get tow or figure out what to do at the moment, but when you have like a bunch of goats in a trailer behind you,
because it's not like you can just like get towed or you can just like drop everything there. It's like you got to figure out a way to get those animals home. So, and that's going to be a very early morning.
Supports putting goats in the back.
You don't tell them. You just clean it out really good.
Look at these little berries in the back.
You just clean it out really good. So Braxton says down here in Oklahoma, gas hit $5.30 a gallon. That's right.
Yeah, we just got over 5.
It's weird here because like
a couple weeks ago,
you go one direction, it's $4.79. You go the other direction, it's like $5.09. It's like okay, where are we going today to get gas?
Indian line has been a pretty significant factor. If we go over into Ohio, it is quite a bit cheaper, like Ashley said. So
yeah,
it's what it is.
It's crazy. It's crazy. Yeah. I mean, honestly, like all of it with. And it kind of just stinks because like the direction that we're trying to go here and all the things that I want to do here, it is requiring where it's like, even like with the conference where I'm like, can we swing that? Will the goats be able to eat if I, and it's even to the point where we have goats out there that I like that are just kind of like on the fence if they're going to stay or not. And there's some that I said I would never move that I am moving because I'm like, I don't know if feed prices go up or anything like that. If I can feed you. And I have others where I'm not selling them because I'm going to ban them and they're going to freezer camp because I'm like, I need to, I worry about food security. I mean, people are so disconnected. I had a guy that came up and he wanted to buy a doe and he's like, when can I start milking her? I can just go out there and start milking her anytime, right? And I'm like, well, if she's bred and she's had babies, he's like, well, what? He didn't realize that in order for a goat to produce milk, that it needed to be bred and to produce kids for it to produce milk. Like he didn't get that the course of events that it takes in order for an animal to produce milk. And I had to tell him, no, she's not breeding age. You'd have to breed her. Then you've got 150 days until the kids come. And then, I mean, you're going to have to find a way to feed the kids. So you can't even have the milk right away, you know? So, and needless to say, he did not buy a goat. Needless to say, I would not have sold him a goat, but I mean that with all the love that I can muster. Sorry, guys. I'm a big girl and I'm moving around and it's making things move.
Darren said, between that subject or watching Legends of the Fall, I get all teary-eyed. Legends of the Fall is a
really
great
good movie. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
we
a really
love
good
that.
movie.
That's definitely on my list of favorite movies. I mean, even Brad Pitt, I'm not a huge follower of his movies, but he did pretty good in that one.
Yeah, yeah.
Although we always laugh. If you watch closely when his wife gets shot, and he's crying, you can see all the fillings in his teeth.
Yeah, all of them.
That's
That's
weird,
sad, but like we really like to look for things like that.
We're
yeah.
looking at. I can't remember if you caught it or I did, but like
I'm pretty sure
was
I
that a bunch of
did.
fillings in there?
Because like I love to look for things like that in movies, but I ruin it like the immersion for other people. So I try to make sure it's like people that will appreciate it. Like, hey, stop it right here.
So now, like every time we watch it, we like as soon as that part happens, we like, watch this.
Yeah. Unless somebody hasn't seen the movie, and I'm not going to interrupt to break their
we're
immersion.
bizarre like that. Emma said the gas prices hurt for road trips, but it was worth the pain to be with community. Don't regret the trip at all.
That's awesome.
Yeah, there's with the awesome people there makes it worth it. So
yeah, it does make it very worth it.
I'm really gunning for HOA because John Lavelle's going to be there,
Yeah.
and like I've followed him for years now. So I'm also like shopping his website to like rep some of his gear when he's there. Get some brownie points.
Wow, really?
Darren probably knows who John Lavelle is, I'm sure.
Warrior Poet.
Yeah, he's got some pretty good stuff out there. So
yeah, I'm really excited
that.
for that class list to come out because we're
Did
we're
they
jazzed
even say
for
what
it.
topic he's going to talk about? I wonder if it's like
he does
homestead
a lot of
security
and prepping, and he goes over a lot of
background in the military.
He stores stuff.
I know he's gone to like several clients per se, like people have hired him to go through, and
I like that.
Yeah, I don't know what you call them, but like he goes to their house and talks about like security setup and how he would reinforce it basically.
Yeah.
So
for us, he'd just be like, "You're screwed.
Yeah.
You're totally open to anything." Yeah,
for sure. Darren said it's been so crazy for us last few months. I was gone almost all of May.
It's so crazy.
Yeah, then you're like playing catch up
it's
at
so
that
crazy.
point when you're
it
gone
really,
that
really
much.
is.
Between
milking like twice a day here and like just trying to keep up with everything, like the kiddo is in softball and it literally is just like there's something all of the time. Yes, I know. She got busted in the elbow really bad last night.
They pitched and I thought I could dodge it because it was behind me, but
yeah, she was batting and it hit her like right in the funny bone, so she's got stitch marks from the ball.
Yeah, she
took it. She stayed on the base. I was like, yeah,
for sure.
I felt I'm one of those parents, so I'm like, shake it off, girl, get to first base, shake it off, you know. Where other parents are like, are they okay? I'm like, she's she's all right. It's good for her. Yeah, he was like, go to the dugout and check on her. I'm like, just rub some dirt on it. You're okay.
Braxton said I had one of those people that were like, oh, we will breed her next week, and I was like, dude, she's 5 months old, not going to happen. Yeah.
It's really sad though, but like, especially when you care about your livestock, or you have, or right now, because people, I think it's quickly turning back to like 2020, like fervor to be prepared again, and the people just are very spontaneous buyers. Like I just purchased another goat. I know, another goat. But like she vetted me up and down, and I was like, "Here's my farm page. Here's this. Here, I mean, you can go to my YouTube channel.
She's really bringing in some good quality for her though. So.
And when people get like to that level, they just don't want their animals going to just anybody. And I think it's your responsibility to be that way. You know, I mean, especially
with this traveling shows, though, we're trying to elevate some of the qualities. Yeah, and this one definitely brings in some flash and pizzazz to her.
She carries quite the resume behind her via her parents. But we did submit our license to sell milk, raw goat's milk for pet consumption. What you do with it after it leaves my premises is what you do with it. But we're getting so much milk and I'm having to dump it because I cannot use all of it. And I'm like, I'm going to start selling it, especially because we've had people that actually reached out with the baby formula shortage. With formulas becoming short, like people are like, hey, do you have raw? And I'm like, I don't have a license yet. And they're like, I won't tell them. Like, but if anybody were to catch me doing this, like, I could pay some serious fines, and I'm already being gouged via the diesel that goes into doing the hay, because that trickles down to us via the feed, via the, you guys get it. I mean, I'm like, no, I don't need to put another bill out there to be paid. So
no. Emma said she has to be in a right frame of mind to watch Legends of the Fall.
Yeah. There are a few movies like that where you're just like, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Braxton said, did y'all hear what happened with blue cactus dairy goats? I did, and I actually was hoping to snag a couple, but I'm just not there yet.
Yeah.
And I honestly worry about transportation from arid desert climate to Midwest.
It's a big shock.
It is a huge shock. I know someone that just transported in like a pretty expensive buckling, and he came with respiratory problems, and they've been doctoring ever since. And I know she put a lot of money into getting that goat onto her premises. So
yeah, there was also an issue with some type of pellet feed that someone had.
Yeah, that's actually been going around. I cannot remember who it is. It's like Stanley. I think it's Stanley, like some type of pellet.
It was old
fed it to their animals, and then 4 to 6 hours later came, and they had goats of all ages just fall over dead. So they were like, we don't know what happened. They've put a call into the FDA, Tractor Supply, everything, because if there were pesticides in that pelleted hay, I mean, it can kill livestock.
Yeah, they lost 6 does.
They lost 6.
That's hard.
They said it was within hours and they said that was the only change. There's like no marks, no struggle marks. They just all fell over dead where they're at.
No symptoms, just fell over after being fed.
Which is just awful. Goats are frail, and everybody thinks goats can just eat whatever, and they just can't.
Mm-hmm.
They can't. Rub some dirt on it. Yeah, that is like, my mom was like that with me though. Like when it came to sports, where she's like, you get up and you keep going. So kind of like that too. She's giving me a death stare right now.
Darren's comment sounds familiar. A little dirt never hurt.
A little dirt never hurt. That's right. Hello, Mo. What's going on? How's everything going down south? You guys aren't getting any of this crazy weather, are you?
Yeah.
I mean, it's been like nonstop thunderstorms.
I think we actually are still in a tornado watch till
10 o'clock. Yeah, we are.
But it's really cleared up. And then the last set of storms that came through had cooled down. So yeah, I think we're pretty much in the clear watching some of the storm chasers.
Yeah.
Ryan Hall, y'all.
They were all in Indiana. So it was like, he turned it
on.
He was
over in Ohio.
He was, but they were following lots of things in Indiana. But it was funny because he's like, oh, they're all paying attention to the here's your state.
Yeah. Yeah, there was that one point they were watching a cell, and it was like, 2 miles from us.
Where they said they're like, it's outside of
Oxford
on the Indiana-Ohio line. I'm like, it's like us.
Yeah,
so
a couple minutes away.
Yeah.
But it did pour for a bit, so got some heavy rain out of it.
Crazy. It has been crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Ugh. So, Emma, you got any more get-togethers that you're going to go to? I know there's one coming up like in Kentucky.
There's quite a few popping up. Darren had been to one recently, too.
Yeah, you guys did have one up in Canada. That was awesome.
That was cool. Because I know you had talked about, like, they're just not as frequent up there.
Please.
So it was cool that you guys were able to attend one and get together.
Yeah.
See some.
I know Indiana has one, but it was funny because, like, last year we had it was, like, right after HOA. I found it, like, the night that it happened. I was like, oh.
Most I found a rental, but horses getting moved to another spot. All is temporary until we regroup to be able to buy something.
Any closer? Have you guys had any at least prospects?
Yeah, I saw like reports that housing contracts were down in April, so they're hoping that maybe that the housing market might be slowing down, which would hopefully push down prices. Because
Put some rain on her parakeet.
Oh, if you want to.
If you want to, it's fine.
So yeah,
another development.
I don't know if we mentioned it last time on the live, but there was like a property that went up for sale down the road, and it was just outrageous.
Oh yeah, it was for compared to what we paid, and it's not even a mile down the road. Like it is, it's pretty expensive. How much
makes you think like, how much could I get this for? Like, or get for this?
Well,
but then it's like, do I want to start
comparable after? And that's been really. I mean, I always think of that too. Where I'm like, oh, could we upgrade? But with the way that the market is, like nothing. No matter how much extra we got for this, it would not be an upgrade anywhere we went. And it seems like right now in this area, everybody's looking for this.
Yep.
So
Darren said ours was small, so it was the first one, but it was so great seeing everyone. Yeah, I bet it was nice seeing everyone because
Joe has a new family member.
Yeah, we're getting the camera, kiddo. They can't.
him in
He's
the camera.
scared.
Oh, there we go. So there's our new homesteading pet animal.
Peter.
Don't think we're going to get much meat off that one. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, Joe finally got her
this
parakeet, so
sustain
she's
us.
very excited about it. There's a spider right there.
It'll be all right. So his name is Peter.
Yeah, I keep calling him Petey, and she keeps telling me Peter.
Yeah. I said all key. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's been wanting one for a while. Our agreement with her was she had to get really good grades by the end of the year, and she held up her end of the bargain. So one thing I was impressed with too is we bought off of family or Facebook Marketplace. Jeez, that thing off. We bought a used cage because it was in her budget and everything. And actually, it was like a good size cage, but it had been outside for a little bit, so it was a little rough. So she helped me sand it down, and we repainted it. And she liked that because she got to pick the color that she wanted. So we've got a bright green parakeet in a bright pink cage.
Yeah.
Rose
Rose gold.
Oh, okay.
Sorry.
Don't know my pinks.
She's getting to that age. And she's very specific.
Rose gold.
Okay.
With a dark pink for the food tray.
Dark pink
I
for
think
the
I
food tray.
Generational Homestead. Hello tonight.
Hello. How are you guys? From Colorado. That's the place I've always wanted to visit. Not been able to get out
Emma
there.
said we've been tempted to sell, but then we remember that we'd also have to buy. Definitely not selling right now. Yeah, that's the hard part of the market. So it's like a catch-22. You get good prices for what you're selling, but then you got to turn around and buy, and that sounds like a crazy market right now.
Yeah.
We know many people that they'll see something pop up and they'll want to wait to talk to their spouse or something about it. And by the afternoon, they'll see it in the morning, and by afternoon, it's already pending a sale.
Yeah, things here just are they're going.
I don't know if that's that way in Missouri. It probably is. But
it's almost like you have to have somebody on the inside or know in order to get the sale. Because there's actually been some pieces of land around us that weren't terribly expensive, but they would have been tempting, or I'd be like, yeah, let's go ahead and buy that. But it was up, and in 2 hours it was taken right back down. So
Darren said we got our place for $250K, and something similar is not under $1 million.
Wow.
Yeah, it's crazy.
That
how
is
much
insane.
Hopefully they're not charging you that property tax for the $1 million. I know ours jumped up on just our land quite a bit this past year. So yeah, it's definitely not a buyer's market right now.
No,
unless you're rich.
No, it's really, really not. Yeah. We keep watching, but
Peter the parakeet.
Is he hand trained?
No, not right.
She's working. Yeah, he's only been here for about a week and a half.
Yeah.
And she was really bummed because she's like, he just kind of stays in the one part of the cage and he seems really scared. And I'm like, so I'm going through YouTube and doing reading, and I'm like, it's normal. Like, he's new, and I think he's young. He was smaller than every other bird in the cage, which I'm like, Joe, he might also have been bullied. So he just probably isn't probably not with it. But she has been working slowly with him to get him on her finger and to walk around with him. But he is very apprehensive, so she's asked for a buddy for him. But I told her wait until you go back to school so that he'll have somebody in there with him when you're not here. So she's been working with him a lot, though.
Yeah, she's definitely been paying attention to him and working with him.
Yeah.
So she's
no need to apologize, Margie. I'm just glad you're here.
Yeah. Mo said, I used my Emerson blender cup to chop up a small piece of carrot for the parakeet.
So, see, and that's what she's been giving him, millet spray, the sprays of millet seeds or whatever. But I've been asking her, just try different things, see what he likes.
Can't offer much help. All I could help with is when she first started putting in the branches for it to climb on, it had 2 washers that were supposed to go in each of the cage, and she didn't realize that and put the nut on just the outside of the cage, so the branches were wobbly.
Really wobbly.
So I'm like, well, I can fix that. So I moved the washers around and showed her how to do that. But parakeet care, I just don't have much.
I can kind of help her through knowing how to get a goat to kind of to chill and stuff, but the way that they communicate is totally different. So, and I'm not a chicken whisperer by any means. I love my chickens and I take care of them, but they kind of do their own thing. I'm if you don't like me, that's cool. I've got my goats.
Mo said starting to calm down here in Tennessee. Are you talking about the housing market or the storms?
Yeah.
I think she's talking about the housing market because that's where we left off. But my brother is actually looking for land down in Tennessee and has visited a couple spots down there. Just hasn't found anything that really suited his taste yet. And then there's a couple that he liked, but then of course they sold before they finally got everything organized.
There was one of those where it's like you ask about it and they're like, oh, it's already pending.
Yeah.
It's already pending purchase.
Because like he's staying up in this area still, and then would drive down there, or try to coordinate a drive down there to see it, and by then it was already taken. So yeah, he's hoping to find something down there. He likes the area. Don't blame him. We love Tennessee too.
Which he built his own little camper on the back of his truck, and like they were out in Arizona and we're kind of out and about. But then he was talking. He's like, "Well, we sold the house, but now with gas and everything, it's like we still have a mortgage payment."
That's pretty cool though. Like he bought an old flatbed truck, and not old, but it was like early 2000s. Which he's a mechanic, so he can work on it. But he put like a full living cab that has a bed over the seating area of the truck, so you can go up there and lay in there. And then he's got an actual bathroom in there too. So he's got like a full
It was neat. It was super
so they
neat.
went to like a couple primitive areas and just stayed in that, which was very cool. Yeah. And then found like a big carcass next to the camper. One time they like pulled up and were
said like its head
getting
was
set
crushed.
up. Yeah.
And it was a big animal.
Yeah,
He's like, that means
like
there's a bigger animal around here that can do that. So they moved.
I think I might move on. He's like, I don't think the camper would hold up to something bigger.
I was like, that was probably a smart decision. You're probably glad that your bathroom is in your camper and not like you have to walk to one, especially in the nighttime. I'll let her know that, Mo, about the millet spraying the carrots because he is kind of going through molt right now.
Yeah.
Because she was worried. She's like, I hope he's not stress picking. I'm like, no, this looks like when the chickens molt. This is what it looks like. So
for sure. Emma said our neighbors sold some land recently, 10 acres for $250K, and all it has on it is a shop. That's crazy in rural Missouri. Wow. That is crazy everywhere.
Yeah.
That's a lot of cash for 10 acres.
Just that.
Wow.
Gosh.
With a shop on it. Was there plans to like live on it, or just they just gonna visit or use it like a hunting property?
Mm-hmm.
That's great, because if you build a house on top of it, you're gonna be spending a lot of dough.
Yeah, 100%. 100%.
Generation Homestead said Peter and the Wolf is a good movie.
I used to love that cartoon when I was little. Peter and the Wolf.
I don't think I've seen it.
And then there's like the little music that goes with it and stuff. You don't remember that?
Well, I hope there's music. Was a silent movie?
Shut up. There's like a specific like musical number that's Peter and the Wolf.
Oh,
you know?
Really?
Yeah.
I don't think I'm familiar with it. So like Tom and Jerry, the cat and the mouse. There's not a lot of movies I've watched. I should be like, have you seen this? No.
No. Which is weird because I don't watch TV as much as you and Joe, but I know I've seen more things than you.
I just stay in pretty much like one genre though.
Yeah.
Either slapstick comedy, whatever. Or more serious action.
I watched Deadpool this week.
Sure.
I watched both of them. Which Joe like had her cousins over. She's like, we're gonna watch Deadpool. I'm like, no, you are not.
Monty Python you didn't see until we got together?
I'd seen it, but I just didn't really like it. Didn't really mean anything to me. It was funnier. You changed my sense of humor though. You guys ever have like your spouse or your significant other like changes your sense of humor? Because some of the stuff like he says, like I know, like years ago I'd have been like, that's dumb. I would not have laughed. But I laugh at it now. He's definitely changed my sense of humor for the better. I'm not as dry of humor.
Well, as your looks deteriorate, you have to use comedy to make up for it. Make it more
you're very handsome.
Thank
you.
The
looker.
Mo said housing markets was good. So.
That's good. I'm glad to hear that because I know a lot of people that are just like you, not, they're waiting for it to calm down because they need a place.
Margie said, love watching your videos, Emma. Keep them coming.
Yay.
Yes, Emma has amazing graphic
she's got great
and
editing skills and storytelling.
The storytelling is definitely a key piece of her videos. 100%. She just actually had one out for the recap of the homesteading meetup. So
I've been trying to take notes from your storytelling, Emma. But it's weird. Like I've rarely had especially now because I'm so far behind. I don't film with intention. Everything is kind of like put together, and I do a lot of voiceovers, like with B-roll to kind of tie things in to clear up my timelines. But
for sure.
Yeah, I don't know. It's been crazy.
I must say, I think their plan is to build a house on it. They just put a new gravel driveway. Not sure how long it'll take them. Well, if they don't have much money, it's going to take them a while because they just spent.
Or it depends on like construction materials have been kind of like all over the place too, so that could definitely affect how quickly that happens.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
If they don't find you handy, they better find you funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is true.
Close to the
It's true.
old red-green saying.
It's
If they don't find you handsome, they better
handy.
Yeah.
Handsome better be handy.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
Need to watch
Old
him
red
again.
green duct tape.
Yeah. Fix everything. That was a great show.
But you're handy and funny, so it's good.
Try to be.
He's got two things
Yeah,
going
there
for
we
him.
go. Got
He's
something
got
going
two
for me.
things going for him. He's definitely a keeper.
But speaking of things going up, so I'm sure many of you have heard, we and Ashley have been talking about, is the egg farm that recently caught fire out in Minnesota. It was producing 3 million eggs a day.
Yeah.
And they're saying the USDA came out and said that they think egg prices could hit $1 an egg. So actually our chickens must be laying golden eggs at that point. But in all seriousness, that's another big factor. You think about
it's insane.
Just the cost of already groceries, how high they are, and then eggs going up. And then on Freedom Homestead's live on Monday, somebody was saying there's a bean shortage getting ready to occur.
Yeah, there's a bean shortage.
So,
and the wheat imports that we're supposed to be getting are not wheat. Yeah, so like we're going to start seeing that. We are only seeing
wheat tents.
Shut up.
Family Guy reference. But you're right. Those are, I mean, cereal prices have gone up.
Cereal prices have gone up. It is, we're just at the tip of the iceberg.
Yeah.
I hate being that way. And this is probably like why my mood is a little bit different, but it's different because like here we've just really, while we've got a lot of things pulling us all over the place. I mean, we're feeling more of the grind where it is more like head down, you work here and you get ready. I hate to be that way, but like there's just so many things that are happening. There's just such a different climate like in our country and with the way people feel about things and stuff that you're, I won't even touch on all of it. But for me, it is almost like pulled my mindset like here where it is nose to the grindstone. I know like we do the show goats and stuff, but like literally I look at that and I'm like, well, crap goes, gets worse. I've got milk. I've got meat. Yeah. I mean, I've got a way to barter because I'm not going to get into the doom and gloom, but it really has been one of those where it's like, what animals do we have here that can keep us? How can we space out our breeding so that we always have a supply of meat and we always have a supply of milk and there are always eggs and there's always food and there's always for me it honestly the climate has taken a little bit of like the
and one thing we actually started to do too is egg glassing. So we're using it as sort of a test to see how it works. We're going to actually wrote a date on there. I think we're going to probably check them around to the 1 year mark to see how they held up. But
I'll probably check them at 6 months.
We're getting so many eggs, honestly.
We might as well.
Find a way to keep them long term.
And like while we don't see like that crazy demand for eggs here because everybody here like they have eggs, like they really do. But I have noticed I've had other people from not as agriculturally based areas. They're like, hey, you have eggs, or hey, if you ever have extra eggs. But then it requires me to drive to them, which I'm like, do you want to pay for my gas to come to you?
Hello, Ashley, our fellow show ring partner for the upcoming weekend. Seth, everybody knows it probably is. That's my sister. She's also taking some show goats, including a buck that is from our
Are you taking Waylon?
Oh, you said she was.
I thought she was. I wasn't sure though. I know you definitely got Isaac ready.
So I'd like to see what how he does at the show.
Yeah. It's gonna be a big show though.
I
was looking at the numbers for the bucks.
Which
a lot of bucks.
His grandfather just got a permanent champion.
Yeah. For anybody here that does not care about goats, like we start talking about permanent champions, it means they've gone to so many shows and won grand champion over like everything. You have to win at least 3 of those.
Yep.
It's different between does and bucks too.
Darren said no conspiracy at all. Not at all.
I don't want to talk about it, Eric. Darren, don't say the C word.
I'm interested, Darren. Like you guys had that convoy, of course, that was well renowned, traveling across Canada. Did that impact you guys as far as your supply chain even further, or did your cost of things go up? I mean, there's so much going here. I'm not even really honestly paying attention anymore to what other countries are impacted by, and I'm sure their costs are going up just as high. I've heard some crazy inflation rates elsewhere, but I mean, like I said, with the eggs and the beans, who knows what's next? Gas already going up, so.
Well, we were just talking about like the big dairy farms out in the desert, and I'm like, which I don't even know how you run a huge dairy farms out in the
Cactus, the one you were talking about that was selling off half?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, she had to make.
I didn't know. I know Braxton mentioned it earlier. I didn't know if that was the specific.
Yeah, that was blue
breeder
Cactus.
you were talking about. Okay.
Yeah, I was surprised because she does run a pretty
Well, I'll be honest.
string.
The food costs have gone up so much. Ashley's really cutting back on does. Like, there's some she wanted to wait an extra year to see how they did, but it's like at this point you're putting so much.
Well, we're
cost
putting
into
things
them and
into them, and when we start, so like we're doing the milk testing, and that really does show like how much bang for your buck are you getting. So I've got groups of does where it seems like I've got specific age groups, you know, and in those age groups you have those that are they're all getting the same amount of feed, the same amount of care, and you either have some that are really putting it in the pail and some that are just completely slacking. Now that can be for a lot of different things, but like going into their third milk test when you've been adjusting management practices and nutrition and everything, and they're still not putting it in the pail, you really do start looking at it as I'm paying this much for feed to feed you the same amount that I'm feeding this doe over here, and she's producing 3 to 4 pounds a day, and you're not even touching 1 pound.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, it's like that might be okay for someone else, but for what we're trying to accomplish, or our endeavors to create good milkers for other families that might need a small goat that produces 4 pounds of milk a day, that's important to me to put that out. So it's helping me make cuts. Honestly, I know it's a different realm for a lot of people, and other people be like, goat is a goat, I'll just milk it, I don't really care about it. But really when it comes down, like even Joel Salatin will tell you, like when you start doing the numbers and you start looking at what produces and what has the feed and what is a good mother, or what puts more meat on the bone the quickest, like those are the animals you stick with, and those are the animals
you even
breed.
break it down to just the ones that are more ornery than others,
because
the amount of time and handling is cost in a way.
Yeah.
Whether it's cost of your time, not to mention time is money, as they say. Money, so I mean, he was breaking down to the point of, you know, if you're spending
all the minutes
extra
they take from you is what they take away from the good animals.
But you have some does that, even though
I'm working with
she's
them,
feeding them at milking time, she still has to chase them down, which is ridiculous.
And it tries my patience. And I'm very patient with my animals, but it does try my patience where I'm like, are you kidding? We've
especially
been doing
when you're hot and sweating, you're out.
Yeah, it wasn't so bad like in March and April, but now that we're in June, it's like 90 degrees and humidity is 80%. I'm like, you have to stop. Yeah. Like, we can't do this. Like, this isn't good for you, and it's not good for me.
So. Emma said looks aren't as important as like humor, in my opinion. As you get older, looks go. Mm-hmm. So sense of humor matters more. Mm-hmm. Very true.
This is true.
Yeah.
Or you could age like
not as good as I once was. Ashley said, not this time. He's been limping since he did the big jump.
Oh, that's right. You told me about that.
I was like, last show, remember you had, which one was it that
popped
up with a limp right before?
The night before, I was like,
and the next morning she was
fine.
It was amazing.
She jumped out of her stall to get out after she limped in. So.
Hopefully Waylon stops limping soon for you. That's always a pain.
It's always so tough.
Mm-hmm.
You're like, come on, just get with it. Stay in your pen.
Darren said, I think the truck thing was a drop in the bucket compared to everything else. Yeah.
It was.
Everything going on. He said, we still like factoring our happiness costs. The cows bring us a lot of that.
Yeah. There are some animals out there that regardless, I'm like, you're here for forever. There are a few, like deli.
Hanging around the last boar goat we've had.
So there's absolutely no purpose but to be grouchy and to try to swing a horn at me when I'm down and sick. Tired. I'm like, I don't even have the energy.
But sick her from a pretty rough situation. So
I definitely have time tied into her, and I do love her. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And I think that's important that you bring up your happiness factor, Darren, because I think like why I was talking earlier, like when you think about all of this, it does change your mindset, and changing your mindset can kind of change how you feel about what you're doing. And like I've told him several times, like I have to stop listening to some things, or I have to just not pay attention to it, or I remove it from my news feed because it literally steals my joy. Like it literally makes me look at what I'm doing, and it's not so much for fun and to learn and to grow and to gain skills. It makes me feel more like it is survival. Mm-hmm. And there's something different when you know you're doing something because you might have to count on it in the future. It does steal a lot of your joy, So I think that's important of when your happiness costs.
Yeah.
And if your hairy coos do that, then keep your hairy coos.
Generational Homestead said, my mom usually let me keep one of each of my breeds this year. She let me keep one extra.
Oh, that's good.
Cool.
I need to learn to keep just one. Well, out of like 23 kids, I think I've only got 9 does.
The hard thing too is, with the does, it's hard to know what you got until they freshen. And even then, sometimes it's the second year freshen that you finally start to see what they actually are going to have.
I really try not to hold a first freshen.
Because honestly, Willow, which did really well in our last show, her first year,
the first year we had her, like, she was totally lopsided. I was like, you're not looking all that. And then the next year it was like, okay. And then this year I'm like, yeah. So I'm glad. And of course, I got a doe from her this year. So happy. It's ridiculous when you get like the one out of the animal that you've wanted for a long time. But yeah, we got one new one coming. She might come home with us at the show this weekend, but I think she's going to she'll end up holding her, which is okay because I'm okay with the breed that says I want to make sure she is thriving before she comes to you, because it's in my best interest and it's in the animal's best interest. So I'm okay with that, I guess. I guess I'll wait.
Yeah, I think she's worth it.
I hope so.
Yeah.
I hope so. It was one of those where I'm like, I need to get money out of the farm fund and I need to go to the bank and put it in and he's like, oh my God, why? I was like, I may have put a down payment. I may have put a deposit on the goat to hold it, and it's expensive.
Yeah.
So,
but again, it's part of us being involved in some of the goat shows, just really trying to improve our quality of our herd and everything like that. So
yeah, that might not even stick around though, depending on how things go.
Yeah.
You
never know.
It might not turn into that. I don't know.
Yeah. Funny thing is, this past weekend we actually had an opportunity to go out after church to dinner with another couple, and there's, of course, as with everybody, aware of what's going on and thinking like, hey, we'd like to try to do some of our own growing and homesteading in a way. And we had an opportunity to talk to them about it. And I think they took a good approach, like you were talking about, the happiness of it. And it's easy to want to hit the ground running, especially with the way things are right now with, the supply shortages. You think, I got to get ramped up as fast as possible in case. Because
they overlook the importance of community. Honestly, we live in like our boxes. We live in these. And this is all we live in. I mean, most of us anyways. But they took a good approach. I agree. And that was the one thing we said, hey, like if you can't do it all by yourself, like you find people that can and you start to build a community and you start to build friendships and networks, because I can't do everything, no matter how skilled I am with livestock husbandry. There are things like I just am not. If someone needed an engine to be broken down and rebuilt, I could not do it. 100. I could give you every way to keep your animal alive and healthy, but if you ask me to do anything mechanically, I can't do it. You know, your car breaks down. I don't know. Go call somebody. But that's when it's important to have a network and to understand that everybody has different skill sets, and the way that people rush back in with this spontaneity into gaining knowledge or resources. I wouldn't even say knowledge. I mean, they're grabbing the resources in hopes that the knowledge will come, instead of like vice versa, instead of really trying to learn first. And these guys, they're doing the right thing the way that they're doing it. They're really trying to learn. But I think that's why, like Emma said, the community for those conferences is important, because it does connect you with other people.
We found a lot of inspiration in each other
100%.
last year. Just being around like-minded people, getting encouraged by other people, and just because it is easy, I go to work and I don't work with a lot of people that have the same type of lifestyle. So it feels like I'm sort of an outsider with it. And being at the conferences and stuff, you realize how many people are like-minded and are interested in the same thing. And you can just sit there and talk about it like, hey, it is part of our daily lives.
And they understand like what you're talking about.
Yeah.
They understand what you're going through. Whereas like people like with us, like we work remotely, even the people we work with in our office just have no idea. None. Like the one lady, she's like, you sound so tired. I'm like, I've been up at 5 o'clock for the last 3 weeks, 4 weeks milking. And I've been up in the barn until 10 o'clock every night. Like, exhausted. I'm so tired. So I apologize for my energy level too, like while we're here, because I know it is like so far down from where it usually is, but I am exhausted. But I really wanted to hang out with you guys, because it just, the last couple of weeks haven't felt normal. Like our not getting a video out every week and like being able to really interact with people and share what we're doing. It just kind of got us just off kilter. And we're hoping to get back on to Kilter by like talking to you guys because it does help a lot.
Off Kilter, that sounds like a good channel.
Off Kilter is a good channel. Old Haas and Hannah.
Yeah.
Did Hannah have her baby yet?
I didn't see anything yet.
I haven't seen anything either.
But yeah, talking about a little bit about speaking with them on Sunday too. One thing they were good about is understanding just taking the baby steps, because we even admit to them sometimes we've been where we bought something, didn't have a place to keep it yet, so we were scraping together something, and sometimes that just makes it hard to look at what you got as a success. The ducks, for one, like we bought them, and fortunately they worked out well, and we ended up liking Muscovy ducks. But if it was something where they didn't end up being like an animal that we really ended up liking, that would have been super stressful, because we bought them without any really area that they were.
They took over like a side of the barn for a while.
Yeah, and we're still honestly building out their pen that they're going to have as a permanent home. But we just try to convince them, because it's easy, especially if you're getting into it later, or it's something you just didn't have a passion about from the beginning. It's easy to become overwhelmed. I think Joel Salton did a good job talking about that. He went through the honeymoon phases of homesteading and how easy it is to get burnt out. The first couple of years you're hitting the ground running, you're trying to keep, then 3-4 years in, it's
you're in love with it until things start to pile up.
And honestly, at that point too, I mean, with animals, you're hitting those areas of maintenance too, like fencing is breaking down, and it's
animals,
just ever
livestock, you hit highs and lows all within 24 hours sometimes, where it's just like, oh my gosh. And I think that's also when you have to understand and let go that you do not have control. Like, no matter how much you want to think you do, like, this is the lifestyle, you cannot ever really be in control of it. You can try to influence it to go the way you want it to, but to be in complete control is an illusion. You're just not in control.
Emma said there's a lot of value in having people around you who get you and who allow you to vent or cry or rejoice. They just get you. And having someone that has a similar interest that understand it in a way is just immensely helpful.
It is. You get disconnected. That disconnect, when you have that and then you pull back from it, I feel like that's probably where I'm at, like right now, like with all this, because like I love our community, but like the not posting and stuff and not reaching out is just that it's easy to feel that too on a homestead, because you're so busy, like people want to go out and go see a movie and you're like, I can't, like I have to get this done. Like,
I feel like this was a summer also. I know our schedule was just consistently have something going on almost every weekend night, now. And I feel like this summer is the one also where, after the pandemic and all that, things are starting to catch up a little bit,
more open,
because there's just so much going on, where there's so many events, people having get-togethers, which is good to see. But at the same point, over the last 2 years, we got away from that, and it feels like you're sort of starting over again.
It just feels like everything is moving in fast, fast forward, like in a really quick motion, and it's like we've gotten used to like not having everything open, or people weren't going places, or if they were last year, it was just kind of like dipping their toe back into the water to see if everything was okay. And this year it's just trying to catch our breath. But it doesn't help. Like we've really thrown ourselves into, we've moved our garden again. We've built more raised garden boxes. We're building a duck pen. We've decided to do performance with dairy goats. I've decided to do performance with dairy goats and to do milk testing and showing. And then you've got, Joe's got softball and school and extracurriculars and 4-H, where it's just like, it makes it really hard, because we want to be involved in all of our communities. We try to be very involved in 4-H. We try to be very involved, like with our kids softball team, which is like just making sure, like, hey, if they need people at the concession stands, we volunteer and we go do that too. So it just kind of it catches up with you. The balancing act is tough. It's a tough one.
And some of them, of course, coincide with homesteading, but then some of them don't.
Sometimes like
4-H and the goat shows. Okay, we have goats, so that makes sense with it. But you have just extracurricular stuff, softball in a way, and stuff like that. It's like,
which we actually like sold one of the other parents a goat last year, and I was like, didn't I sell you a goat?
here
like,
at the game.
Like, he's doing great. I'm like, oh my God.
Mhm.
I always worry they're going to go and something bad's going to happen to them.
Yep.
Generational Homestead says you always need plan A to double Z in minimum. Yes.
Yep.
Yeah. We have friends that don't endure to do this, and they don't understand that. It's like, no, if this happens, then we're doing this. But if that doesn't work, then we're doing this. You know, it's just it's kind of crazy, but it's been interesting, and we've just been so busy that it's been really hard to keep in contact with everything, especially this. This is something I don't ever like to get away from. And like the last couple weekends, either through thunderstorms and tornadoes going through the area where it's like we don't have internet, to we need the time to get some things done, and we try not to do that, but sometimes it gets away from us. It really, really does. And yeah, I know I'm droning on. I'm sorry. Mark looks at me like that when I won't stop talking.
No, you're good. I think we probably should wrap things up.
We are going to wrap things up.
Some things
still have things outside that I need to do. We still have a small amount of sun left for about an hour.
Daylight is nice, right?
Well, not even an hour, probably for like 30 or 40 minutes, maybe. So I think we're going to go and wrap it up, guys. I'm going to hope to get another video out to you guys very soon. We will be doing live again next Wednesday, barring weather, fatigue, drought, tornadoes, whatever happens. I don't think we have anything next Wednesday, so we should be okay. Softball's almost over. That's been a big consumer of our time because she's been doing double headers this year a lot. So we're there from like 5 until 9 o'clock. Just all the daylight after we're done from work. So yeah, but we're going to go ahead and wrap it up, guys. We're glad that you chose to spend your time with us tonight to catch up with us. We hope that you're all staying safe out there and being kind to one another, and we will catch you on the next one.
Yep.
God bless you.
Good night, everyone. God bless.
Bye.